So I just got delivery of my new tent. I got the X-Mid one person created by Dan Durston through drop.com. So I'm going to open this up and see what we've got. So there it is, pretty small. Drop X-Mid one person tent. So I got this tent because I'm looking at in the spring of 2020 to start doing some sectioning of the Appalachian Trail, starting at Springer, and I'm hoping to do a couple 100 miles in my first section somewhere around April, May. And so a big piece of gear that I was not ready for was my tent. And so I've been looking at a lot of tents online, and I kind of got sold on the X-Mid one person by Dan Durston just for a few different reasons. One, this is a tent that uses your trekking poles. So you don't have the extra weight of having to carry around the aluminum poles that would come with a freestanding tent. I didn't want to go with something like a Z-Pax duplex because it's a single wall, and I kind of didn't want to deal with the condensation issues. So the X-Mid is a trekking pole tent, but it's also a double wall tent. So that's one of the things I really liked about it. So I'm going to open her up and get it set up and see how it sets up. It says that this comes in at 28 ounces, so just wanted to check this out here before even opening it up. It's coming in at 32 ounces, so a little bit more than advertised, but there's probably some tent stakes and stuff in here that I will probably be replacing as we go. So I'm gonna open her up and see what we have here. So it does come with, has a fly that you'll set up over the top, and then you have your inner liner that will set up inside this. So let's get it set up. So here's the X-Mid one person all set up. As you can see, this is a double vestibule. So there's doors on each side, which I have both of them open. So you could use one side to store gear, packs, shoes, whatever. And then you can maybe cook on the other side if you needed to. This is a trekking pole tent. So you'll see the trekking pole has a grommet that it goes into up there. So that happens on each side. You can see really good quality stitching here. And this is all pre seam sealed, so it's completely waterproof as well. But just all these edges are really good line locks. To stake this thing out, minimal. There's four corner stakes, and you can also deploy the guy lines if you have a lot of wind. Each of the vestibules has this door for venting, and there's just a little post that's integrated that is used to prop this either open if you want to use it, or you can leave that closed if you don't need the extra venting. There's a venting on each side. for both of those doors. So this is a one-person tent. So I've got the Climate Static V, and just enough room to get this pad in here. And when I'm in here, I've got just enough room to keep my feet off of the mesh and my head from touching as well. So again, at 6'1", I have lots of headroom clearance in this tent. And with my feet down and not touching the edge, I've still got clearance between my head and the mesh on this side too. So at 6'1", you know, I'm fitting in this tent pretty good. I probably wouldn't want to be too much taller than 6'1" for the one-person tent. That would probably be a little bit more difficult. There's this ridgeline pocket which runs the whole length for storage if you wanted to keep a headlamp or something up there. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the quality of the work on this and all the corners. The mesh, I've heard some concerns about, but I haven't really seen any issues with the mesh that look like it's problematic. Yeah, so I actually set this up yesterday for the first time, and then I realized the video that I had shot was not as good quality of video as I wanted to, so I decided to reshoot that. This is my second time pitching it. The first time it took me about 5 minutes to put the tent up all the way, and second time around I got it down to about 3.5 minutes, just being familiar with it a little bit more. So it's pretty easy to set up. Once I've had a chance to get this out and use it a little bit more, I'll do more of a review on how it's actually performed. But at this point, you know, I'm really happy with this shelter, the X-Mid that I got through Drop, designed by Dan Durston. So to open this door, which has a nice rollback closure here, I do put an extra stake on this guy out right there, just so you have some tension to keep those doors nice and solid. So I've got actually 6 stakes in place for the tent right now, 4 corners, and then each of the vestibule doors are staked out. And this design is a unique design. The fly is a square, so it's staked out very in a square. It's really easy to do, but inside, it's hard to see in this, but I'll put a diagram up in here that just shows how it's almost a parallelogram shape on the inside that goes from corner to corner to use a little bit more space more effectively, and that's how you can get away with using these two trekking poles in this design where they're not blocking doors. So you'll see on the vestibules, like, there's a lot of space at the one end, and it tapers off in the other, and then it's the opposite on the other side. So it's a unique shape where it gets its name, the X-Mid, from. But yeah, coming in at right around 29 or 30 ounces. They said about 28 ounces on their website. When I popped this on my scale yesterday, you saw it's closer to 32 with the stakes, about 29 without stakes. It's a very lightweight piece of gear, and there we have it. So this is my first look at the X-Mid one-person through Drop, which I've got set up here now. So if you have any questions about this tent, anything that I haven't discussed yet, feel free to message me in the comments and let me know what you think. And once I've had a chance to use this, I'll do more detailed review of how it held up. But for now, it's just an initial look, initial setup, and just to see how it's all set up in person. I gotta say, pretty happy with it right now, and can't wait to get out there and use it. Thanks for watching.
Upon this floor on which I lay, girls had a girl below the line. separate some things that I cannot define.